Oh, we are live. We are live.
Y- Yes, we are. Hello, everyone. I am here with my dear friend, Sue Reid, and today we're going to be talking about overcoming self doubt. Okay? We're going to also touch on the imposter syndrome, the perfectionism, and people pleasing.
Hmm.
Okay? Yes. And these things are very, very important because I'm gonna tell you why. Because if it wasn't for these things, uh then I would have started my Substack career much earlier. Okay, when I came to Substack in November last year, one of the first persons I met was Sue Reid,
Yeah.
okay, and Veronica, okay. I'm going to give you your flowers, okay, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I want to
The
thank you, friend,
there.
for that, okay?
Oh, bless you. Yeah, bless you. I mean, I would say the same. It's been lovely meeting you and working with you because I think this is our third live that we've done together. So nice to be back.
Absolutely. When something works, you hold on to it. Okay.
You
Like
do.
we know. Okay. So I'm gonna let Suri introduce herself.
Okay. Well, I'm noticing a lot of names I already know, like Mama J. Hi, Mama J. Hi, Nita, and anybody else that I've missed. Sorry if I've missed you. But yeah, so thank you so much for being here. I am Sue Reid. My publication is Confidence Matters because I believe that confidence does matter. I've built my confidence up over the years. I am now, I would say, extremely confident. I would say that, and I do have my self belief. So yeah, that I am a confidence coach. I help people with their confidence. I write about confidence. I'm in the process of writing a workbook on self belief. So I'm going to expand that out into other things. I've written a course on owning your voice, so speaking up in meetings. And I've written a book called Building Confidence from how to Thrive as a Shy Person. I remember the title. So that's all my achievements. I've also had 42 years in retail banking as my career before coming here. Yeah.
You're truly amazing, Sue, because like I said, I was stymied by my I was crippled. Okay. I couldn't write that hero post for the life of me. It was like over a year, it just sat there empty. And when I talked to Veronica, she's like, "What you doing? You got this. You know what I'm saying? You got the skills, you got the talent, you got the know-how. Let's do this." Okay. She lit a fire under me. And I'm like, let's go. And then I met Sue Reid. And here we are, because after serving 39 years, with the military and being a certified coach and having a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology, I still felt like I wasn't good enough. Okay. And then why should somebody listen to me? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about self doubt, okay, self doubt we consider this as the root of all of these fears, okay, that we're talking about. Okay. It's the foundation, it's the internal voice questioning, am I enough? Okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was
talk
going
to
to
us
say,
about
I
that.
mean, when you listed off your qualifications then, a couple of years ago, I would have thought, oh my God, I can't speak to this woman. She's qualified. I'm not. She knows so much more than me. So you're saying you're not good enough. I'm thinking I'm not good enough. And this is where we are. This is what happens. And I think this is where Substack is so perfect for writers, especially new writers that have never done it before, like me, like you, um, because there are so many people that we can look at and aspire to be like Veronica, who is, she's up here, isn't she? She knows exactly what she's doing. She's written books, she's public speaking, she's a gold mine, she's brilliant. But she is willing to help us, people like us who are starting out. She puts all her knowledge out there for others, which is wonderful. And I think this helps our self-belief. Um, and what I wanted to say about self doubt and self belief is if we start from the message that and I know you, Margaret, would want people to take away from this is that the importance of self-belief. It's so important to believe in yourself because it's liberating, it's freeing, because self-doubt holds you back. There are so many things that somebody would want to do, but they're held back by this. Well, everything boils down to this: I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not clever enough, I'm not slim enough, I'm not, I don't have enough qualifications, I don't have enough whatever, everything that holds us back. And that leads to procrastination. That leads to perfectionism, which really, at the end of the day, are excuses why we can't carry on. Now, they're not excuses, that we've made up. It's our brain telling us that. So, the one I want people to take away from this talk is that self-belief, it lifts you higher, and I hope you can hear it in my voice. I believe in myself now, and it's just so powerful that I now think, do you know what? I can do anything. I mean, Margaret and I wrote for Planet Ral this week. We both wrote poetry. Margaret's written some poetry before, but not for a long time. I've never written poetry. And I said to Ral, I can't do this. I don't even know what a stanza is. And then when she explained it to me, I thought, oh, okay, I'll have a go. And that self-belief, because I had no idea. I had no idea. But I thought, okay, let's just have a go. And once you let go of that doubt and start doing it, it just does itself. It comes out. That I think 4 verses just came out just like that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when she didn't ask me, she told me. And okay, okay. So where I come from, the people, the ancestors, they don't ask you nothing. They tell you to do it. You listen what they say and you do it. Okay.
Mhm.
You don't back talk. Okay. When she said, you do this, I said, yes, I will. And she gave me the deadline and I sent it to her. And I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? I'm like, okay. So I did it and I felt good about it. And it awakened something inside of me. Okay.
That's
Because,
exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
okay. Because I told you on our earlier talk that I used to write poetry when I was a child because of the abuse and everything I was going through. So I would escape into this fantasy world. I was like, okay, Alice in Wonderland, she got her world. Well, I got mine. Okay. And I can, in that world, I can create whatever I want. And I am the boss. Okay. And based on my expectations. Okay. But I lost all of those poems that I
Mhm.
written in a fire when the building caught fire. Okay. And what I love that today, whatever we write, whatever we produce is evergreen material and it will be there forever. Our children, grandchildren, children's children can see that and say, hey, my mother wrote that. My
Yeah.
grandmother wrote that. Okay. This
Brilliant.
is
Yeah.
how we live. This is our legacy. We are writing our legacy every day. Okay?
And that's what self-belief brings to you. So this is why we need to build our self-belief and get rid of our self-doubts. So how do we do that? How do we get rid of our self-doubt and start believing? Oh, hi, Rao, she's here. The boss is already here.
We talked her up.
Yeah.
She is the warrior, okay? She don't ask. She tell you what to do and you do it. Okay? And that's how it's done. That's how it's done. And we know that. Okay? So I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's okay. No, the question was how do we fix our self-doubt then?
Yes, come on. All right.
Okay, I'll answer it, shall I? Well, the first thing, one of the main things I recommend my damn, I feel so good to be. Oh, bless you. Yeah, so one of the main things that I recommend to my clients when we start out working on their confidence is write yourself out a greatness list. That is so important because you may be sitting here thinking, oh, I haven't done anything. I've never achieved anything. But hang on a minute, you're walking, aren't you? That was one of the hardest things you ever learned because you tried to stand up and you fell over. And what did you do? You didn't sit there going, oh, this is stupid. I can't walk. I'm going to give up with this. I won't bother. No, I'll crawl for the rest of my life. No, you got up and you tried again and you probably fell over and you tried again and you fell over. Hi, Netta. Um, yeah, and you kept going. And so there's other things. You learned to talk, you learned to read, you learned to write, you did maths. Maybe you passed an exam, you learned to ride a bike, maybe you learned to swim. Then you got a job, you maybe bought a house, you got married, you found the love of your life, maybe, hopefully, after a couple of attempts. Um, and then maybe you brought up a family. So all of these things you've done, and if you write them all down, that's your evidence. So when you're sitting there thinking I'm not enough in any shape or form, you can look at your list of achievements and you can say, no, actually, do you know what, I did that, and so I can do this. Because the reason we have self-doubt, the reason we tell ourselves we can't do things, is because our brain wants to keep us safe. That's its whole. We got part of our brain at the back, our ancestral bit of our brain that knows that everything outside is dangerous. We walk out of, because it thinks we still live in a cave, so it thinks we walk out of the cave and we'll get eaten by a tiger or something. So we have to survive. So anything that doesn't have a guaranteed outcome of success is a threat. So your brain will try and stop you doing it. So it wants to keep you small because small is safe. So whenever you want to try something new, your brain, your inner critic, that little voice in your head will say, oh no, we don't want to do this. It's too dangerous. And then it will come up with remember when this happened and it went wrong? Remember somebody, your dad said you weren't very clever. Your mum said that this, and somebody else said that, and your teacher said that you'll never amount to anything. So why would you even want to try? And so all of this is going on in your head. And so to get over that, we need to be telling ourselves, our brain, our inner critic, that actually this is okay. I can do this. I'm going to give it a go. And every time you step out of your comfort zone and you try something and it goes right, then you've got evidence. You can write that on your greatness list because you've done something else. And this all adds up. And because your brain naturally will look for things that go wrong so it can prove that all the things that you believe yourself, that you've built up over the years, are true. So what you've got to do is find all the things that you've done right so you can convince that brain, that inner voice, inner critic, otherwise.
I would also like to add to that. Say, for example, you do that and you fail miserably. Okay. What lesson did I learn from that?
Exactly.
The fact
Exactly.
that I tried is a success. Okay. Because from what you learn from that experience, you can modify and do better. Okay.
Yes.
That's how we start. Remember that little train, all them little lessons that we learned. I think I can. I think I can. And every step you got up that hill. That's what you got to do. You got to convince yourself, I got this. Okay.
I've got
Keep
this.
telling
Yeah.
yourself that, yeah, I got this. I got this, even if you don't. Some people say fake it till you make it. I say fake it till you make it. Keep telling yourself, I got this. Okay. I failed 10 times. Okay. I took the PCC test. Okay. For the ICF. Okay. I failed 4 times. I am not giving up. Okay. I'm going to take it again. Okay. I'm going to take it again and I'm going to pass this time. Okay. Cause I'm going to put in the time and the energy. Okay. I wasn't doing that. Okay. I had to look at what happened. Okay. I take that thing and put it on the big screen. Okay. And I dissect it. Okay. First person, second person, third person. Okay. What could I have done differently? It's my fault I failed the test. Okay. By
Mm-hmm.
14 points. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I got this. If I only fail by 14 points, hell, that ain't shit. I got this. We gonna pass this test. Okay. Period. I don't fail at nothing. Okay. Period.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's the attitude you gotta have. Okay. I
Yeah.
don't care how many times you fail. Get up. If you fall, you ain't gonna lay there on the ground and just wallow in this depth of despair. You're gonna get the hell up. Get the hell up. Brush yourself off and keep walking. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not the only one that failed that shit. and you won't be the last.
No, and
Okay.
that's it as well. That's another thing, comparison. So comparison is another issue of self-doubt. When we doubt ourselves, we are looking at everybody else. But instead of looking at everybody else to prove that we are the same as everybody else, that we're as good as they are, we look at them and think, oh, hang on, he's got 1,000 subscribers. I've only got 900. So he's doing better than me. Um, she's got this. I've got that. Like, you've got your master's degree. I didn't even go to university. Does that make you better than me? No, it doesn't. Maybe at some things, but maybe I can do other things that are better than you, because we've all got our unique talents. We're all the same, but we're different. We've got different talents. Some people are more intelligent than others. Some people can um, do skills that other people can't do. I can't play a musical instrument. I got as far as a recorder. I didn't get any further. I never learned to play anything. But some people can, do all sorts of instruments. But maybe they can't make an amazing cake, which I can make. Maybe they can't make bread, which I can make. So we're all different. So what you must do, or try not to do, is try not to look at other people and think what they've got that you haven't, but where are they on their journey? Where are they compared to you, and how do you get where they are? So how do I get to that, and model yourself on them rather than competing against them.
I'm going to be honest. I am a competitive person. Okay. That is part of my nature. And I use that as fuel and strategy to get to where I want to
Good,
go.
which is
Let's
good.
keep it real. Let's keep it
Yeah.
real. Okay.
Yeah, but you're not looking at other people and saying, I'm useless because they've got 10 more subscribers than I.
Oh, no, no, but honestly, we all get caught up in the numbers
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we get
And
down. It's
there's
like,
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. When you beat yourself up because you haven't got what you want, that doesn't help anybody. I mean, my father, as I've said loads and loads of times, he brought his children up to be winners. We had to be first. There was no such thing as second place. Second place is the first loser.
okay.
That's my dad's mentality. So you have to, which that was, in some respects, has motivated me because I've done well in my career. I do aim high because of that. But it also filled me with self-doubt as well, because I wasn't, the main reason, my core belief was, I'm not as clever as my sister. I'm not as pretty as my sister. That is my core limiting belief that I had to dissolve so that I could move forward finally.
Well, I agree with you because my father taught me, you got to be the best at everything. Ain't no fucking way you can be the best at everything. Okay. Period. I tried that and I burnt out. Period.
Mm,
From the
mm,
front, from the back, I burnt out. I'm like, I can't, it's unsustainable. Pick, okay, what am I good at? What am I passionate about? That's what I'm going to work on. All
yeah,
that other shit, let it go. Okay?
yeah,
Period. It's too much. That's why, okay, I have to get the associate's degree. I have to get the bachelor's degree. Now I have to get the master's degree. And $80,000 that I owed to the student loan, was it worth it? I don't know. I did it for personal satisfaction, okay, to say I got this, okay, because I suffer from imposter syndrome, perfectionism, people pleasing, and self doubt. And after I got all of that, I still felt like I was still not enough. So what the hell did I get all that for?
yeah,
Oh, so I can compete in the workplace, or I can, compete with all the other people out there that are coaches and, you know, in the crowded space. The bottom
yeah,
line is people don't give a damn about all that. They want to know that you're authentic, and they want to know what you have to offer is going to bring positive change in their life. They don't give a damn if you went to high school. As long as you can bring them positive change, they with you. Okay. So, okay, it was just all in my mind. Okay. So,
exactly. And the same with me. I thought, when I first started writing, I thought, well, I can't do this. Why? I'm too old. I'm not clever enough. I've never written anything before. And then I just thought, no, why not just do it? Just give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, I started when I was retired. I wish I'd started earlier, but I waited until I was retired and then started because that was kind of a safety blanket for me, because if it didn't work out, it doesn't matter, does it? I can sit up, I can work in my garden, I can sit and watch daytime TV, God forbid. But I didn't. I got on with the writing, and it's like a second career now, but not one that where I have to work the 9 to 5 and answer to anybody else. I would not want to go back to doing what people tell me to do. Um,
Okay, those days is over.
Absolutely over. Yeah, not going back to that. Not for nothing. And
Okay, if you offered me twice my salary, I was making 130,000. Most of that I made my career, but it was killing me. I walked away. I'm like, you can have this shit.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
all money ain't good money. I feel good now.
yeah,
I felt like I was near death.
yeah.
No, you can have it.
And I mean, that's the other thing about self-doubt, because it does all, like I said at the start, it all boils down to this: I'm not good enough. And we'll talk about that in a second, because, I've got my thoughts on good enough. But I lost my train of thought now I do this.
It's
Yeah,
all
so
good.
so what was I saying? Sorry.
Whatever you want to say.
So you weren't listening.
I'm
um
63, so
no, that's what I was going to say about salary, about how much you earn. At the end of the day, that's another thing with self doubt, that you think, I've got to have this, I've got to have that. I've not made it until I'm earning X amount. I've not made it until I'm like the CEO. I'm in the C suite. I've not made it until I've got the big house, the fancy car. But actually, you can live on very little as long as you can pay your bills and live a comfortable life. That's really all you need. All the rest is just like the icing on the cake, isn't it? But you don't need that icing. The cake tastes the same without it. Um,
I'm gonna
Carry on.
tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. You're right, because when I went to Iraq, okay, I couldn't bring none of my stuff, okay, because you living in one of like those trailers,
Yeah,
okay. In that trailer, it's like maybe have 10, 12 units, okay. When I was in Iraq, that's why I didn't go to Afghanistan. Anyway, I had my own bathroom inside of my room, okay. I had a little studio. I was blessed to have it. I had a little TV. I had my little refrigerator, and I was happy, okay. And because the more shit you got, the more stuff that you have to maintain. Okay, and
yeah,
it's the more stuff that you have to spend money on. Think about it. More simply you live, the less stress, and the more money you keep in your pocket. Okay, live simply. When you go overseas, when I went to China, okay, they live real simply there, real modest homes, and I'm like, damn, you can just barely walk through there. But you know what? When you go through there, this peaceful, it's harmony. They're happy. You know, and so
mm,
it's like and then they look at us like we got to supersize everything. Okay, we got to get Rolls Royce this and Rolls Royce that. We gotta keep up with the Joneses, but there's a cost associated with that shit. Okay,
mm.
when the tax bill come, like holy shit. Okay, when you live in this luxurious lifestyle, nothing wrong with if you can afford it, but it's over excessive. It's over. We are overdo shit. For what? I mean, especially when you see how other people live and like, damn, I could take that money that I'm doing all this crap. I can save it. I can put it into something to
Yeah,
make something. You see
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. So let's go back to the not good enough then, because this is something that I've been thinking about a lot, because, growing up thinking that I wasn't good enough, and I come across so many of my clients, or in fact, all of my clients in some shape or form, the ones that want to lose weight, the ones that have started a new job and having imposter syndrome, the ones that procrastinate, the perfectionism, all of this, it all boils down to somewhere somebody made them think that they're not good enough. And that turned into a belief, and their brain just kept looking for different ways that they weren't good enough. So, oh, you've dropped a cup. That just shows how useless you are. You can't even hold a cup, blah, blah, blah. But let's break it down. Good enough for what? Good enough for who? What does that actually mean?
It's based on somebody else's perceptions.
Yeah,
Okay. Everybody has their own perception and their own expectations. Okay. That's the first thing. We put unrealistic expectations on ourselves, and other people put them upon us.
yeah,
Okay. They are forced on us. Let's call it like it is. Okay. Let's talk about the origin of these things. Okay. Part of this is conditioning from childhood. Let's
yeah.
keep it real. Okay. When I was a child, okay, most people know that my mother was schizophrenic and had to give me up because she couldn't keep me mentally. She couldn't keep me. So I had to go live with my my abusive narcissist father, who was a minister of all fucking things.
Mm,
Okay. So he used to tell me, "You're gonna be like your mother." Okay. And I wanted to tell him, well, why did you mess with her if you knew she was mentally unstable in the first place? So I really had a lot of resentment towards him. And
mm,
he would tell me all of these things. You're never gonna be nothing, and would tell me why. And so these things, we internalize these things, okay? And then things that other people tell us, when you're going to school, how kids are very cruel, and they tell you things, and because when I was came to live with my father, my last name was Foster. So, I used to get all kind of names and everything. And so, my brothers, I'm just by myself here. So it's like I don't know what to do. Okay. So you internalize all these things. And that's why I still suffer from this crap today. I know I'm enough, but I can still hear these voices,
mm,
okay,
mm.
telling me I'm not. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, even though, like, all of these things about your father and you resented him, in your brain, your brain was still thinking, this is a figure of authority. This is the person that I need to impress so that they love me, because otherwise I'll be rejected. My mother's already rejected me. I can't have my father rejecting me, because then I won't live. I won't survive, because that's how your child brain works. You have to survive in the world, and so therefore, if you believe your caregiver doesn't care about you, you panic. And so that's where the people pleasing comes from, because you grow up thinking, I have to make people love me, because if they don't love me, I won't survive. And you might be 53 and you're still thinking it. You're still thinking, I'm not going to survive because people don't love me. So I will do everything I can to make them love me.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the reason I got pregnant at 14. My mother rejected me. She didn't want nobody to know she had a daughter. Okay. Have to live with that. Then your fucked up father, who is a minister. Okay. So I'm looking for love in all the wrong places at
Okay.
14
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
old. Okay. And get pregnant. Okay. And so, because people pleasing. Okay,
Mm,
you can please a motherfucker till the day long. Okay, sorry, but that ain't gonna make them love you. That's not gonna make them love you. I don't care what you do. You can stay quiet. You can stay. You can give them everything they want, and it's never gonna be enough.
yeah.
And if they don't love you back, it's nothing you can do. Okay, so I suffered from people pleasing because of that. Tried to please my father, but still couldn't. And I put him up on a pedestal. He's a minister. He's an authoritative figure. And he is supposed to be a person of influence to help to mold and shape you. Instead, he is the one that's the perpetrator. So who can you trust if you can't even trust your own family?
Exactly, exactly. And so you can see now where that people pleasing comes from. And there are so many people that do it without realizing that it's come from something in their childhood, normally from their parents. Not always intentional. I mean, not everybody's parents abandon them. But so, say for in my case, because my father was away a lot, because he worked hard. he worked hard. So we only really saw him for 1 day a week because he worked 6 days a week. But he always made us, we had a nice day out when he was off. But my mum got postnatal depression. At the time, I didn't know it was postnatal depression. I was only 8, and I don't think it was it was ever diagnosed. But after the birth of my youngest brother, she became depressed and she changed. She wasn't the same mother. And that was when she kind of mentally abandoned us. She didn't want to be a mother anymore. She just wanted to be a victim, live in her own world of misery that she created for herself. And I'm not blaming her at all. It was, it was just what it was. But so for me, I that my belief that I wasn't loved and going out and finding bad relationships was because I didn't see my father very often. I never really bonded with him because he saw me when I was 2 weeks old. So he was in the Royal Navy. So he came home when I was 2 weeks old, and he was given, I think, a month off or something, or a couple of weeks off to be with his new family, new child. Um, but then he went away, and he went to Australia, Singapore and Malaysia, and he was away for 18 months. So he saw me 2 weeks old, and then he didn't see me again until I was 18 months old. So for me, the first time I really knew my dad was when I was 18 months. So there was no bond there. I had no idea who this man was, but I was very, very close to my mom and my older brother. They were the people that were in my life, and my grandmother. So my grandmother died when I was 8, and that's part of why my mum became depressed. So yeah, but all these things, and you have to unravel it. You have to look at when you get imposter syndrome, when you get perfectionism, procrastination, all of these things that hold you back, all the self-doubt. You have to drill down and start pulling out the threads and thinking, right, why did I just do that? Why am I thinking this? Where did that come from? What does that remind me of? And that will take you back. And work with a coach if you need to, with a life coach or a therapist or counselor, but somebody that can help you, because you can dig into it and you can find out where that started, and then you can start unraveling it, and you can work out, right, how do I move forward? What is it that I need to release? For me, I need to stop thinking I needed to impress my dad because he died years and years ago. He's not going to know anyway. I had to realize that my mum had serious problems that was never dealt with, and that affected their marriage, which made them very hostile to each other, which then reflected back on children, because children always believe it's their fault. So it all adds up. You can actually join the dots and realize why you are the way you are. And then when you release it and you get self-belief, it's a different world. It's a completely different world. It just lifts you. And because you're vibrating at a much higher level, these people that tell you you're not good enough, that, criticize you, it doesn't matter anymore. You can let it go. It really doesn't matter because you believe in yourself. True self. Thank you, Netta.
I am so glad you mentioned that, because for me, a coach, I always have a coach. Okay, because my kryptonite is imposter syndrome. And that's why you are my coach. Okay. I recognize I have a problem. Okay. I also made an appointment, I think 2 months ago, for behavioral health. Okay. I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm still waiting. I don't know if I'm still on a waiting list or what, because I said I was experiencing PTSD from my childhood that I never dealt with. But since I've been retired, I've been sitting in all of this shit, and I'm feeling very triggered by different things. That's why I got off of notes, okay? Because I was being triggered big time. And I'm like, let me step back because people gonna think I'm crazy, okay? And it is what it is. So we need to recognize things and we need to act accordingly, okay? And then you talked about criticism and comparison, okay? That is also the roots of this, okay? We have to stop comparing ourselves to other people because we are unique. None of us are the same, okay? Sue, She got 10,000 followers. Okay. Okay. I got
I
600.
wish. I wish.
I'm just saying, does that make her better than me? No, no. Okay. Focus on what you are doing and not worry about what Sue is doing over there. Okay. And then you build and you will grow too to get to get to 10,000. Okay. Because the time you taking to worry about what Sue doing, your own shit is is undone. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and all you have to do, I mean, this Sue, whoever she is, she's really good, isn't she?
Yeah.
So you go to this Sue and you say, Sue, how did you get your 10,000 followers? I need to know. I need to get there. I'm trying to get there. What idea, what ideas have you got for me? And most people will help you. Most people will give you their advice. Ral is saying, this is good therapy for me. True identity. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, like you said, I like Sue got it going on over there. Hey Sue, I'm gonna get a no, I ain't gonna tell you nothing. I'm gonna get a subscription to your publication, and then I'm gonna arrange a DM to introduce myself and ask
Exactly.
for a meeting. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring something before I ask for something. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you come with nothing, I ain't got nothing for you because I'm trying to get shit myself. I'm trying to get for myself. Flat out. If you ain't coming with nothing, don't come here. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Okay? Flat out. Okay? So the other thing is fear of rejection and fear of failure. Those are the two things that bug me the most. Okay? I do not like being criticized. I'm telling you flat out. And uh I don't like to fail at shit because I'm not supposed to fail, okay? It's not even in my vocabulary. So those two things are very troubling for me. But we are not perfect, okay? That's become from the perfectionism, okay? So we're not perfect, okay? So I made a mistake. What can I do to change it? Probably nothing, but I can do something different. What is that?
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so you can't change what's already happened, but you can change how you feel about it and stop telling yourself that you're a failure. And like you said earlier, you pick up what you've learned from it. Okay, where did I go wrong? What happened? What will I do differently? I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to ask Sue over there or whoever how they did it and can they help me? And I'm willing to subscribe. I'm willing to, I'm willing to have coaching with you so that you'll show me how I can get to where you are. We you don't need to be frightened to ask for help. And honestly, it really is worthwhile. If you have any form of self-doubt in your life or any other area of confidence that you're struggling with, you are holding yourself back by not doing anything about it. And we have to accept that we are human and we will make mistakes and just open up your heart and show your vulnerability. And you think, well, if I do that, that's a weakness. People won't like me anymore. People will think I'm stupid, crazy, hopeless, da 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 da. No, they won't. People will love you. Trust me, they love you because you are saying, I am just like you. You've got problems. I've got problems. Nobody's perfect. Say.
Let's let's work on the problems together. Okay, we coaches.
Exactly.
We're not coaches for nothing.
Exactly. And going back to that not good enough again, I said, for good enough for what? For who? Exactly. There's no such thing as good enough at the end of the day. So on the one hand, we need to start believing that we are enough just as we are. There is nothing wrong with us. We're whole, we're unique, we're an individual, we've got everything we need inside us. But you can still do better. We can still improve. If you remember, I was talking to Ilham on Monday about 1%. Make little 1% improvements every day. If you can do something to move forward, you're improving. So, yes, you're good enough. You're absolutely good enough, but you can improve. You'll never be perfect. You'll never, once you get to the top of one mountain, you'll see another one to climb. You'll never, ever get to the end of it. But that is life. This is what we're here for. This is what we're supposed to be doing. And when you get on that road, it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
And I can tell you, it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Netta's saying, no matter how perfectly pretty people make themselves look, is there more to that? No. Okay. Yeah. So, but so many people young people particularly do so much to themselves to try to change um, their image when they were beautiful anyway. They didn't need to make the changes.
Just the way you are. And all this
Absolutely.
crap that we buying, okay? When we leave this world, you can't take none of that shit with you, okay? So you better stop buying shit and enjoy life.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
That's right, because yesterday is gone. Tomorrow's not promised. All we have is today, this moment. What can you do to make a difference? Okay? Do anybody out there have any questions at all? I see some comments.
Yeah. Any questions? Does anybody suffer from any of those? Procrastination, perfectionisms, anything like that? Imposter syndrome, thinking they're not good enough. It can't just be me and Margaret.
I tell you, I suffer from it. Okay. That's why I got a coach. Okay. You my coach. All right. And I'm still waiting to get a therapist. Okay. I have to do an interview to make sure that we're a good fit before I work with her. Period.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. If you're dealing with trauma from the past, that is not coaching. That is therapy. And that's where you should be. Okay. And that's where I want to be. So I can cut the trauma. I can leave that shit behind because it is impeding me from reaching my goal, becoming my best self. How can I come my best self? Is to get help. Okay.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Netta says, yeah. I think she meant all of the above. She just put yup. Brandon, one of my favorite names, Brandon. I like that. Definitely imposter syndrome and comparison. Yeah, they do go hand in hand.
Yeah. And also with the people pleasing. So what I would like to say, self-doubt questions worth and ability. Okay. Perfectionism overwork to prove value. Okay. Which still may not work. Because if somebody don't believe in you, I don't care how much you do, it ain't gonna make a difference. That's why I walked away from that job. People pleasing is seeking validation from others. Seek internal validation. That is much better. And that's going to ground you and keep you on track, on your path to greatness. Okay.
And also, when you think about, we were saying about the greatness list. And by the way, Brandon says it's difficult not to compare. Yes, it is. But this is your choice, Brandon. You are choosing to compare. You need to be able to say to yourself, well, I would say you should say to yourself, I'm not going to compare anymore. What you're doing over there has got nothing to do with what I'm doing over here. I'm going to follow you so that I can learn from you. But you're not better than me. And this is what you need to keep telling yourself. Nobody is better than you. What were we just saying, Margaret? I was about to say something. It went out.
No, it's all good. So we just keep it moving. Okay. Then I wanted to say that imposter syndrome dismisses achievements and make you feel like a fraud. Okay. So what we need to do is address each of these things because I suffer from each and every one of them, period. And I'm always battling with myself. Get back on Substack. Write that article. Go ahead and do that video because I was so nervous this morning. I'm like, oh my God, if Sue says she want to cancel, I'm okay with that. Okay.
Why would we do that? Why would we want to cancel?
My mind was saying that because I was nervous and I didn't know how I was going to show up. But every time I'm worried, nervous, everything comes out good. And I'm gonna give you an example. Barbara Streisand suffers severely from stage fright. So she has to go through a bunch of things before she get on stage. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Robbie Williams, the UK singer, he's sick every time he has to go on stage. Yeah. He's made millions with his records. Um, Lots and lots of people. I wrote about Beyonce, who has to become, or she doesn't anymore, but initially she had to become Sasha Fierce. So she had to adopt a different identity. So this is the fake it till you make it, so that she could step on stage, because then in her mind, she was um, separating herself from the person standing on the stage. That was Sasha Fierce. It wasn't her, but it was her. And as she built up her confidence, she could then go out as herself. But Beyonce, you look at Beyonce and you think, God, she's confident, but she never was. Same with Adele. There's so
And
many. I think
go
a lot of people, creative people, they are not confident. It's, we're not, I guess it's the way we think, the side of our brain that we use that makes, I don't know whether that makes us more sensitive, more, take on the negative energies more. I don't know. I'm just sort of trying to working it out as I speak.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, being an empath, being an intuitive,
Mm.
I take on a lot of other people's things, okay? And I absorb all of that stuff and I have to step back, okay? Because this is too much. And I have to disconnect, go into nature and all of these things
Yeah. Yeah.
because it becomes too much. And
Well,
yeah.
you can learn to like move your energy inwards. So you're kind of, you've got the energy that surrounds you, your aura, and you can open it up so people can come in, but you can withdraw it as well. So if you're in a situation where you don't want to absorb somebody's energy, you can protect yourself from that by drawing your energy back in again. So there are ways of doing that. But we can work on that some other time.
Yeah, that will be another live, everyone. Okay, where
Yeah,
we'll talk about
we'll
that.
talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this has been so amazing because, like, for example, people pleasing is basically a coping mechanism. Okay. And to try to get away from harm. Okay. I will please you. What is it that you want? Okay, just
Yeah.
leave me alone. Okay. If that's what it takes for you to leave me alone, okay, I'll do that. Okay. To keep the peace.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll even apologize when I know damn well I didn't do nothing wrong. I'll apologize. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Because some battles are just not worth fighting. And you can't
Exactly.
win some of those battles. So be mindful of the ones you can win and some of the ones that are not even worth your time. Okay. And act accordingly. Okay. So, uh, self-doubt is the seed. Okay. Perfectionism and people pleasing are coping mechanisms, and imposter syndrome is the fruit.
Hmm.
Okay. So, all of these things intertwine. Okay. But they're not identical. Okay. And understanding the differences between the two helps with our coping and our ability to be able to move forward in life. Would you agree?
I definitely agree. And what I'd add to that is, if you become self-aware, so just every time something happens, like you notice you're people pleasing, just think, why did I do that? Where did that come from? What's the point of people pleasing? What am I expecting to get out of this? Like, am I being nice to that person because I want something from them, or am I just being nice to them because I think that's what I should do because I want them to like me? Do I really care whether they like me or not? If I have to please somebody in order to get them to like me, then why is that worth it? Why do I want them as a friend? So these are the things you need to ask yourself. Perfectionism, why am I trying to make this perfect? Could it ever be perfect? What happens if I put it out and it's not perfect? Will I die? Will I get thrown out of Substack because I didn't get 1,000 likes or something? You know, just just question everything. Be very, very curious about how you are living your life and how you are talking to yourself, particularly how you're talking to yourself. Where is that coming from? And what do I need to keep and what do I need to get rid of? And
That's
how am I
include
going to get rid of that?
that's including people and things, okay, that are not serving you. Pay attention to your body because your body's going to tell you before your mind realizes.
Mm,
Am
yeah.
I lying?
No, you're not lying. You're not lying. So we've been running for nearly an hour. We've probably ought to finish off, so let people go. Um, Thank you for joining, everybody.
Thank you so much for this
Yeah,
amazing community. And thank you, Sue. I look forward to the next conversation, okay?
we will have another conversation. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It's been great. I've really enjoyed it.
Me too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.